So I saw a video today. It was Vida Guerra interviewed Mark Sargent on the flat earth. And at the end, she's talking that she wanted the world to be peaceful and for war to stop and for people to stop hating each other and for people to seek answers and to think deeply. And I think that's great because I think the more attractive women push men to have deep thought, the more it will societally advance our culture. But aside from that, as I was listening, I remembered thinking about a book I read back in 1999 called Conversations with God. Don't let the title fool you. But in the book, the guy who wrote it, Neale Donald Walsch, it's him writing these questions to God, and God answers them through his pen, through his pencil, through his paper. And there was two questions I remember from it. The first one was, he asked, why do people die? And God answered, do you not think that I couldn't create a body that lasted forever? People take better care of their cars than they do of their bodies. And I thought that was pretty interesting. And made me think that, you think about how layered the idea of life expectancy is. How often we're told that the average lifespan is 86 years old, 87 years old. It was actually 78 when I was a little kid, and now it's, I think, 86. If they change the life expectancy to like 100 or 125, I almost bet that people would start living longer because it creates that expectation in your mind. And I think our minds do a lot more to the exterior. The second thing that I remembered most, and this is the most important line of the whole book, because the guy's upset with the world, and he says, he blames God for the way the world is, and he says, why did you make the world so bad? Why is the world so terrible? And God said, the world is exactly the way you want it. If you wanted it a different way, you could just change it. You could change it overnight. You have the world that you want. And if you don't like it, change it. You could actually change it right now. And so I've definitely kept that to heart for the past 20 years. I've always made sure to speak my mind way more than I probably should. And I've created a more perfect world in my image. It's not perfect. There's still a long way to go. But where we are in 2019 to where we were 20 years ago, I definitely feel like I've had at least a tiny impact. So, but that would be an ego thing, and I know people will jump on the ego thing. So don't let my ego get in the way of the message. And the message is, whatever world we want, we can create. And if we don't like the way the world is, let's change it. And for people around my age, we're hitting that age where we are starting to become the decision makers on the way the world should work. And I know we have much different perspective than the older generations. And so as we start to realize that we're almost the ones that call the shots, but one, we need to realize that and not let that shot calling be stolen from us from younger generations that are coming up that do realize it. I feel like my generation has not taken the reins and has not realized that we've had the reins. So it's our turn. So if there's something you don't like about the world, let's change. Let's not just talk about it or bitch about it or whine about it. Let's find ways to put it into action. Now, part of it is speaking, because not enough people speak out. And so the majority of people are just here for the ride anyway. They don't care one way or the other, so long as they have whatever it is that they want, whether it's cable, electricity. And then you have the people that are into deeper thinking, that do want to change, but they don't say anything. And then you just got people that just say anything. Now, where do I fit in? I don't know. I say a lot of stuff, so I definitely speak out, but I also try to put into motion the things that I talk about. So there's many things that I've adjusted over the past 20 years since reading Conversations with God, since publishing books. There's been a lot of things I've modified with my life, things that I don't do or things that I actively do to support what I preach. But anyway, the key concept to walk away with is we're in control. The world is exactly the way we want it to be, because if we wanted it a different way, we have the free will to change it. And so let's find out why the world is operating the way it is and see if we can find ways to make it more enjoyable for the majority of us. But it is pretty dang good, at least in the United States for the most part, in comparison to everybody else. Shout out to Vida Guerra and Mark Sargent. It was a great way to start my day on my morning walk, listening to the two of you have your discussion on flat earth. But it's not even a flat earth thing, it's a thinking differently thing, asking questions. It's all about asking questions outside of what we were conditioned and trained to think and to speak about, and we're given permission to talk on. If you've seen this channel, you know I always say you were given permission to have the thoughts you have. I'm giving you permission to say whatever you want. Let's say everything. Anyway, may the force be with you, and I'll see you in the next one.